Draw your hips back to your heels and stretch your arms out in front of you, forehead to the ground. And just let yourself settle in. So we were talking about stretching and kind of what a deep stretch is. And my version of that is that you don't want to rush in too fast. So getting into deeper muscle stretches takes a little time, and it might take a tiny bit of movement sometimes. So I like to offer the kind of little wag of the tail so that the hips roll gently side to side. And you could even sort of imagine a little tiny circle that you make with your hips or your sacrum, just to get into that low back and even the hips. Forehead is on the ground and the palms are really stretched out, the shoulder blades drawing back strongly, the inner elbows rolling up toward the ceiling as the thumb and index finger of each hand ground down. All these are wonderful opportunities for stretches. And use your breath to open up the spaces in your body. See if you can deepen into your inhale to really expand the rib cage and the spaces between each vertebra. Let's take 2 more breaths here in this child pose, and just kind of on an exhale, let your mouth open and a sigh come out. And if there's an intention to form, if something's arising for you as we start here, just formulate that in your heart and your body and your mind. And let's walk the hands over to the left side of the mat, right hand anchoring on top of, left hand rather, anchoring on top of the right. And draw that outer right hip back, draw the right shoulder blade back, roll the inner elbow up to the sky, and really get a nice stretch here on the right side from your fingertips down to your outer hip. You might feel it into your low back. And again, any tiny little movement that feels good is invited. You bring in the breath. And you could always walk your right hand a little further over to the left to deepen in the stretch as we kind of acclimate to where we are with it. Couple more breaths. Finding that open mouth, relaxed jaw, last couple breaths. One more inhale. Sigh it out with a sound. Ha. And let's walk on over gently to the other side. Right hand comes on top of the left, and draw your outer left hip back. Draw your left shoulder blade back and roll your inner elbow up toward the sky, grounding that hand down, the palm. And any little gentle tiny movements that support a stretch that really gets catered to your body and what you need today. You might walk your left hand a little further on over to the right. Last 2 breaths. Big inhale. Sigh it out. And come on back to center. We're going to cross the ankles and roll onto our backs and find your strap. Bring your strap along with you. Before we get to the strap, draw the knees in and just circle the knees with the hands, holding knees, circling. Relaxing the spine and the jaw. Let the head roll. The knees circling in the other direction as you're ready. And let's bring both legs up to the sky and wrap the strap around the ball of each foot. Reaching up through the heel, drawing the crown of the head away from the sacrum at the base of the spine. And just really opening up the backs of the legs, the low back, the back of the neck as you tuck your chin a little bit. And you could just gently roll your head a little bit. Just take your time.
drawing your toes toward your, beyond your head or towards your head, really stretching out the backs of the legs. This really helps with the low back. You might even wag your tail a little bit here. We'll take 2 more breaths, deepening into the stretch as we spend more time. And then keep the right leg lifted with the strap around the ball of your foot. Each hand is holding on to that strap. And lengthen the left leg out on the mat. If that doesn't work for you, you could bring your left foot to the ground. Either option is just right for your body, whichever one feels right. And let's spend a little extra moment to draw the toes back beyond the head or toward the nose, as we sometimes say. And you can lift your head, lift your nose toward your knee and draw your knee towards your nose and get an extra stretch here. Left leg, if it's straightened out, really reach out through that heel or point through the toe. Active stretching here. 1 more breath. Take your strap into your right hand. The head comes back to the ground and the right leg opens out to the right for a nice opening for the inner seam of the leg, the groin area. And you can use the hand on the strap any which way that feels good and supportive of a good stretch for you. The leg does not have to go far. You find your stretch. If you're overstretching, you might injure yourself. So you want to find that sweet spot where you're just starting to feel the sensation, and you might move deeper into it as we go, as we hold this for another 2 breaths. Still reaching out through that left leg, of course. And reach that right leg back up to the sky next inhale, and let the left hand take the strap and bring it on over toward the left. Right arm reaches out to the right. And you create a big T shape for your body. Right hand reaching right, right heel reaching left, belly drawing in. Left foot lengthening long and crown of head lengthening in opposition to that left leg. Wide open T shape. Few breaths here. Just find your sweet spot. You might not be going very far past center. Where you feel the sensation is where you stop and where you deepen from there. Final little cherry on top moment is to turn your gaze to the right for a nice little neck stretch. You can press your head into the mat. See what that does for you. If that doesn't feel good, you can just be softer with your gaze. 1 more breath. Come on back through center. Lift that right leg high, left foot to the ground, right ankle crosses over left thigh, and go ahead, hug that left knee in and send that right knee away. Bonus is reaching the left heel up to the sky. Let's circle out the ankles. Oh. Again, any little movements or sounds are helpful in this process, in this practice. Really working yourself in on this, just really coming all in with the stretch. Left knee drawing in, right knee sent away. Find your sweet spot and deepen into it for 2 more breaths. Head rolls side to side. And we'll stack the right knee on top of the left, bend the left knee, hands reach for the feet, and pull those feet in towards you. Really beautiful hip stretch here. You can titrate it by drawing the shins parallel to the ground or drawing the heels closer to the hips, depending on what works best in your body. Little wiggles, little jiggles. Really perfecting this for you. 1 more breath, couple more breaths. And let's release. Let's kick the heels to the butt and bring the feet to the ground and just windshield wiper your legs side to side and just feel how you feel. And we'll switch this up. We'll start again with our strap around both feet, both legs to the sky. And tuck your chin and draw your toes beyond your, imagining they're going to go beyond your head. And you can lift your head up toward those knees and really stretch the back line of your body out. You could always hold your head if you needed. Returning the head to the ground, left leg stays high, right leg either extends or the right foot could come to the mat. Whatever works in your body. And let's spend a couple extra moments here really focusing on the back of the left leg. Belly drawing in, right leg really lengthening out through the back line as well as the front line by pointing your toe and flexing your foot. Where can you let go a little bit more? Where can you stretch a little bit more? The hamstrings attached to either side of the knee on the back of the leg here. If you straighten your leg further, you'll get a deeper hamstring stretch. If you want, you can lift your head towards your knee and your knee towards your head, blowing a kiss to that knee, lengthening out through the right big toe mound. Take another breath. Return the head to the ground and strap in left hand, left leg opens out to the left. Gorgeous stretch for the inseam of the leg. Right leg is still doing its thing by really lengthening front of the hip, back of the leg. Find what works for you here. It's very, 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 very individual. You could micro bend your knees, one knee or the other. You'll still get a stretch. We don't want to overstretch, but we do want to deeply stretch today. Let your gaze go toward the right. Big breath in and a good sigh out. And we'll reach that leg up to the sky and switch the clasp so that the right hand is taking the strap and the left arm opens to the left and we're twisting. So again, you don't have to go far past midline for this to be a powerful stretch. It is purely based on what's available in your body, not what you should do or what it should look like. Deep stretches look different on every person, every body. You can always take your thumb into your hip crease, your left hip crease, and use your palm to press that hip, low back away from your waistline. Really powerful. Left arm is out to the left or at the hip there, and gaze goes to the left. We'll take a couple more breaths. Imagine your whole body in a big T. Right leg reaching, crown of head reaching, left leg reaching, left arm reaching. Belly in the middle. One more breath. Reach that left leg up to the sky, bend the right knee and cross the left ankle over the right thigh, hugging the right knee in and sending the left knee away with your elbow, launching the right leg to the sky if that feels good for you. Maybe some little wiggles, little movements feel right. Maybe a tuck of the chin changes everything. Find your breath. Couple more breaths. Letting this practice, letting this work settle you into center. Bend your right knee and stack your left knee on top of your right, and hands reach for the feet or the ankles or the calves, the outer lower legs, outer shins. And again, you can titrate by lifting your shins parallel to the ground or drawing your heels close to your butt. No way it has to be. Any little movements that feel right, always welcome. You could even take a bigger rock. Take a couple more breaths. Head can roll a little bit. And let's reach the legs up to the sky and kick our heels to the butt. And we'll go ahead and rock our way up and back on the back line of the body. This is really good for achy, tired, sore back, but not for everyone. If this is not possible in your body, just don't do it. Let's meet on all fours. And we'll go ahead and stretch that right leg out, coming on the ball of the right foot, lengthening the right heel back, really getting a nice stretch for the 360-degree experience of that right leg all the way through each toe. And we'll go ahead and lift that right leg into space and launch the left arm forward. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen through your body. We're creating more space today. Circle out your wrist and ankle. Launch your arm and leg high. You're going to stretch a little bit the front line of your body. Inhale. And exhale, right hand comes down, right foot comes down, left arm flows to the right arm flows to the sky and reaches over your ear. And here's a beautiful side body stretch. Lift your right hip up toward the sky, stretch through the outer edge of the right foot. Shoulder blade is grounding. As you reach your right arm long, you're still getting a gorgeous stretch for the whole right side, including the arm. You might circle out the wrist. If it feels good, float the right leg into space and bend the right knee and reach back for the foot with the right hand. And gorgeous quad stretch here. Might really reach your chest forward also to open the chest, shoulder to shoulder. Take another breath. And let's unwind and come on out and move it around, hips, shoulders, and head your way. Could be cats and cows, could be spirals, swirls, anything goes. Just move, create space, little stretches for those places between the ribs, front, side, and back. Meet me in stillness and tabletop, just for a breath or two. Really drawing the belly in and up. Imagine the crown of the head lengthening forward, then tailbone lengthening back. And let's reach the left foot back and come on the ball of that foot and lengthen the left heel back. Big stretch for the Achilles, the calf, the sole of the foot, each toe. 360-degree stretch for this left leg. Just imagine that. Imagine what that feels like and make it happen to your degree, in your imagination, in the physical experience. Where do you need to stretch a little more? Let's launch the left leg into space and reach the right arm forward and just imagine this is a stretch here, getting longer, longer, longer. Circle out your wrist and your ankle. Lift the arm and leg a little bit higher, squeezing, opening the front body. One more breath. Right hand comes down, left foot comes down, left arm flows to the sky and then over the ear. And we just find that gorgeous stretch for the whole left side. How much can you connect from your fingertips down through that outer left foot? Whole side body is connected fascially. So it's really, really strong stretch for the fascia. We'll launch the left leg into space if that's there for you and bend the knee and reach for the foot. And this time the quad and the belly and the chest get their turn to stretch. You might squeeze the glutes a little bit. That might feel amazing. We'll take another breath. And let's release and just move it around. Maybe shake out each wrist. And press yourself up into down dog, which is a gorgeous full body stretch. You know, pressing your palms forward, lifting your hips high and roll your shoulder blades away from one another. Feel this as a full body, full back stretch. Nod your head yes to get the back of the neck involved, the crown of the head, the skull, scalp, and shake your head out no. And walk your feet together and lift your kneecaps up toward your hip creases, palms pressed forward. Maybe a little ski slope shape to the spine feels really nice in your body. Just see what works. Let's lift the right leg to the sky and bend the right knee and roll your hip open. And just pause with it. Feeling into what it feels like. Deepening into anything that feels like a delicious stretch for your being. Staying firm and strong on the hands and the four corners of the left foot. One more breath.
And let's step the right foot forward and come on down onto your left knee, hands to that front thigh and dip in through your hips. So you get a beautiful stretch for the front of your left thigh hip. Launching the arms high, interlacing the fingers. Deepening down toward the earth will open your hips, and launching up toward the sky will open your spine, your chest. Sense of well-being, perhaps. One more breath. Hands to the top of the mat. Find your blocks maybe. And pull back into a pyramid pose. Bow your head. Lift the 5 toes of the right foot so you're on the heel of that right foot, and pull back through your hips and bow your head. Big long stretch for the spine. Breath filling. On the exhale, squeezing the belly. Find 3 more breaths. Big breath in. And let's release the 5 toes of the right foot to the ground and turn to face the side of the mat. Inhale. Walk your feet as wide as you can today. Let's find a nice wide opening for the legs. And then bow your head down. Lift your hips up. Squeeze the legs straight as best you can. If that doesn't work well for you, don't do it. You can sway your hips a little bit side to side. You'll feel some nice openings at the small muscles around your pelvis if you do that. Last couple of breaths. And let's toe heel the feet a little bit in. Turn to face the top of the mat. Step the left foot in about a foot so you're back in a pyramid pose. Hands on blocks. Find a flat back for your spine. Pull back through your hips. Reach through the crown of the head and just pause here for a couple of breaths. Lifting the kneecaps up toward your hip creases, straightening the legs. Pressing down through your palms and drawing your shoulders away from the ground. It's a really nice stretch for the arms and shoulders, strengthening as well. Legs are straight. Keep your left hand down. Draw your right hand to your sacrum. Let the hand invite the hips further back, and we'll twist, turning toward the inner right leg. Leg still remains straight as can be. Really find the right geometry for your body. Spin toward the right, launch the right arm high, stretch through your wings, through your arms. Pull back through the outer right hip. Take a breath. Inhale. Oh my goodness, wrap your top arm around your back for a little more of a sense of a half bind, opening through the right shoulder, circling that right shoulder. Last breath here. Inhale, cherry on top moment. Exhale, let's unfurl and step back strong into high plank. Moving your way down to your belly. Interlacing your hands behind you, lift your chest. Squeeze your shoulder blades together to open the chest. And let's press the tops of the feet down, the 5 toes really grounding, pressing into the legs. See what that does for you for stretchability. Reach the arms up and away from the earth. Really energize this pose. Inhale. And then bring the hands underneath the shoulders, pressing into the palms to lift your chest up. Thighs, hips down. Open the front line of the body. Gaze up to open the neck stretch. Inhale. And exhale, let's find our way back, your way to downward facing dog. Take a breath in and take a good sigh out. Press your palms forward. Lift your hips high and again, nod your head yes. Notice how that contributes to stretch for you, and shake out no. Shake out the tension that may be residing in your body. Launch the left leg high, big breath in. Pull back through each heel, press forward through each palm. Let's step the left foot forward, dip down gently on the right knee,
Hands come to that front thigh and dip on in, hips dip. Interlacing hands behind you, squeezing the shoulder blades together this time. Dipping down into the earth, lifting the chest high. Oh, really feeling all the sensation that you can. For 3, stretching the front of that right hip, right thigh. 2, squeeze the shoulder blades together, strong breath, inhale. Gently release, hands at the top of the mat, maybe on blocks. Pull back through your hips, bow through your head. Let's lift the 5 toes of the left foot and place a block under the ball of the foot for a nice little extra stretch for the sole of the foot, the calf. Pulling back through hips, letting the head just dangle, shake it out. Energizing the legs if you wish. Releasing the jaw if you can. Squeezing the belly in on exhale. One more breath. And releasing the block underneath the ball of the right foot, turning to face the side of your mat and walking your legs out as wide as is comfortable for you as you can. Head bows. Hands are supportive. Legs are either micro bent or you can really be strong with them. Straighten them. Breath filling and emptying. And once again, you might sway your hips a little bit side to side, just to really feel the smaller muscle groups all around the pelvis. See what is available to you. Inhale to flat back and toe heel your feet in a little bit. Turn to face the top of the mat, stepping the right foot in a few inches. And take a moment for flat back, hands on blocks, crown of head lengthens forward, the spine is parallel to the ground as the tailbone draws back. Belly strong, lifting. Right hand stays on the block and left hand first comes to the hip crease, the left hip crease pulls it back, hand on sacrum, pulling your spine long, reaching the crown of the head forward, spin, spin, spin toward the left, up toward the sky. Launch the right arm high, spread through the 4 corners of each foot. Where do you feel this? Where does this happen in your body? How many different places can you recognize? Take a breath, feel the big wingspan here. Inhale. And exhale, we'll unfurl and step back strong, high plank. Making our way down to our bellies. Interlacing the hands behind you, squeeze the shoulder blades together, broaden the chest, lift the legs, breathe into the intensity. Feet can lift, or if you liked keeping them on the ground, you could stay with that. Arms are lifting. Breath is full and deep. Hands return underneath the shoulders, press through the hands, lift through the chest. Drop the shoulders. Lengthen the legs. One more breath, inhale. And exhale, let's press back, downward facing dog. Big breath in, big breath out. Bend your knees, look forward. Spring step or float to the top of the mat. Find your feet a bit wider than hip width and turn the toes out, heels in, and dip your hips down. The elbows should land to the inner seams of your knees and the thumbs at the heart, and elbows pressing knees open. Really nice stretch for the groin, for the hips, for the low back. Draw the belly in, breathe into it. Keep your right elbow where it is, but straighten your right arm out in kind of a diagonal, maybe in line with your right knee. And then turn to the left, and if it feels okay for you, launch the left arm high as you press your right elbow to your inner knee, thigh, and spin to the left. Imagine your fingertips just
flinging away any extra stress or tension right out those fingertips. Spin, spin, spin for 3, 2, 1 more breath. Turn, twist. Just for cherry on top, wrap the left arm around the back, and maybe the hands can find one another. A little bind here as the knees continue to flow open, the chest spins up toward the sun. 1 more breath. Let's unfurl back to the middle, thumbs to the heart, chest lifting, tailbone, low back dropping. Just a full breath here, inhale. The left elbow stays anchored to the inner left seam of the leg, and the left arm opens out sort of at the diagonal, kind of in line with the shape of the left knee, left leg, and spin to the right, right arm opening. Big wingspan between arms, knees, legs, lots of work here for them to stay open. Twist, spin, breathe, imagine the possibilities. And just for some fun, you can try the bind, wrapping your top arm around the back, hand reaching for hand, knees continuing to open, breathing into it for 3, 2, 1 more breath, inhale. Let's unfurl, hands to the ground, and lift your hips high and just bow your head. Toes turn in, heels turn out. Nice standing stretch here. I'll encourage you to walk your hands underneath your feet, palms facing soles, head bows. Knees could be bent or straight depending on what's possible for you. Shake out your head as best you can. And just take some breaths into the body. Big, serious stretches here today. Taking our time to stretch the body open. Nod the head gently, yes or no. And just see if you can deepen into your stretch. Really pull with your hands. You could actually come to the big toe mound, the big toes, and pull with your hands. Pull up as your head bows and as your hips rise higher. Your feet landing into the earth as your hips rise higher. Take another breath. Release. Bend your knees and roll your way up to standing. Reaching the arms wide and high. And gather the hands right through the center of the body, right to the heart, and just pause and feel how you feel. We're going to do a little extra stretch for the tops of the thighs. So we're going to shift the weight over to the left foot and launch the left arm to the sky for dancer's pose. So turn your palm so it's like hitchhiking. The thumb is going back behind you. You're going to bend your right knee and take hold of the right foot with your right hand. And broaden the chest and draw your kneecaps towards one another. And drop your tailbone and lift your pubic bone and draw your right heel towards your butt. This could be enough. This might be enough of a stretch. You want to come deeper, you lift your right thigh and the hand presses into the foot and the foot presses into the hand. The chest is lifting. Big balance pose for 3, 2, 1 more breath. Really open the quad, last breath. And return to both feet and just have a little dancey movement moment. Maybe a little sway around the body. And shift your weight over to the right foot in your timing. We're going to move into dancer's pose on the second side. So find your weight on the right foot. Left hand takes left foot as if you're hitchhiking. The thumb is going back. The knees come together as the tailbone drops and the pubic bone lifts. The right arm is rising to the sky as the shoulder blades really relax down the back. And this might be quite enough, quite intense. Deepening would be lifting, pressing the foot into the hand and the hand and the foot to lift the thigh and lift the chest. Find your center. Feel the stretch. Where is it for you? Maybe it's in your foot. Take a breath. And unwind. Let's do a couple backstrokes or some twists around the body. Reach the arms high, inhale. And swan dive down, exhale. Let's take a vinyasa. Flat back, lift and lengthen. Step or jump, high to low push up. Inhale, pausing in your upward dog for a moment, just stretching out those quads, stretching the belly, stretching the chest, opening the throat by looking up, lifting the chin, inhale. And exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Nod your head yes and shake it out no. Oh, stretching in this dog shape. It's beautiful open stretch. Reaching your right leg up to the sky. Let's step right foot to left wrist for pigeon. So walk your left kneecap back and dip your hips down. Hands at the front leg. Palms really pressing into the shin and the thigh. Working the muscles here to soften them. And in the meantime, our chest is really lifting and our hips grounding. You could stay with this work and or when you're ready, fold in, deepen in, bow in. And deep stretches doesn't mean that you can't use support. So we use the strap and the blocks at the beginning. We could use a block or strap here. And if you are working on deeply stretching your quads today, bend your left knee and let your left hand reach for that left foot and stay in the bowing position for the pigeon, the reclining pigeon. You're going to get a nice stretch for the quad on that left leg as the right hip really deepens into its outer hip stretch. Breathing into this for 3 more breaths. Rising, rising, rising on up, coming out gently. We did this stretch on our backs, but we're going to keep the right knee bent. And then we're going to stack the left knee on top of the right. And the outer feet are on the ground. You can kind of press your left hand into your left knee to the left and your right hand into your right knee. The left knee goes to the right and the right knee goes to the left. You're going to work to stack those knees. You may not get there, but you may. And then bring your hands to your feet, the soles of your feet, and just kind of massage the soles of your feet out with your palms of your hands or your fingers or your knuckles. Just go easy. And feel your hips on the ground and give a little wiggle to them, grounding as best you can, each sitting bone into the earth. Let's thread our fingers through the spaces of our toes and lift the chest high. So launch the left arm up, bend the left elbow, and the right hand takes that left elbow. And draw that left elbow in closer toward the center of your head. That left hand is reaching down the back. You're going to get an amazing tricep stretch right here on the outer line of that left arm. And if you like, you can reach your right hand around and see if your hands can clasp. So just take a moment here. You can use your strap. You can do a different arm position. The knees are in their intensive stretch. And we deepen in by gently bowing forward. And the weight of our torso on those legs is quite something monumental. So stay with the experience. Don't rush into it. If something different would be better for you, like if your hands grounded on the ground would be more beneficial for your body today, you can ground your hands to your feet. If you love the upper body stretch along with it, stay with that. We'll take about 5 more breaths. Each breath deepening you into the experience. The left elbow is lengthening forward and the right elbow is drawing back. Shoulders are relaxed in the middle.
Go easy on your knees. If you feel something uncomfortable, back off. One more breath. Come on up, hands behind you, feet to the ground, and stretch those legs out for a little shake out. And we're going to take pigeon on the second side. So go ahead and find your way back to downward facing dog. And just pause there and really feel your body right now. How is it feeling with this deeper stretching? What do you need to do to center yourself for your intention that you may have set? Let's lift the left leg up to the sky and step the left foot to the right wrist and dip down deep into the hips, and hands come to that front leg, pressing into the quad and the calf, centering the right kneecap on the mat, staying as long as you like with this upright leg exploration and the hands on the leg, and bowing in as you feel ready. Once again, if you want a little extra quad stretch, bend your right knee, or it's a big quad stretch, and the right hand takes hold of that right foot. And you could use a strap for that as well around the ankle or the foot. See what's here for you, see what's possible. Some of you wanted to push yourself into deeper stretching, so it's a balancing act. You do not want to stretch too fast, too far, too deep, too much. But you do want to come to your edge so that you can grow your edge. And this is a great life metaphor. A few more breaths here. Staying with it. Commit. One more breath. Releasing the leg and rising on up. The left knee stays bent. And we're going to stack knees. So left knee stays bent, right knee stacks on top of left, and the right knee goes over toward the left knee goes over toward the right for some stacking. Bring your hands to your feet and massage your feet any which way you can, really pressing, opening the soles of the feet with your palms or your fingers or your knuckles, your fists. And thread your fingers through the spaces of your toes. And give a little wiggle to your hips so you really ground through the sitting bones and launch up through the crown of the head. Find your regal moment. Feel that the core has to work for this. And launch your right arm up and bend that right arm, and the left hand takes the right elbow and pulls it in toward the midline. Right hand is draping down the back, and eventually the left hand might reach for the right. And the right elbow's high and the left elbow's low, and the shoulders relax, and we walk our way forward and really find the depth of the stretch as we go, deepening in, deepening in, deepening in, ever deeper. What supports a stretch? Two more breaths. Rising up in your timing, lengthening the legs out, giving them a little shake. And let's transition to lying on our backs. So come on down. Take a moment to just settle yourself, straighten out your clothes, whatever it is. Maybe a little pounding, tapping, bouncing of the sacrum on the ground might feel good, or some wiggles, or just some stillness. We are going to place the block under the hips. So find the block under the hips, and let's try the low height for the moment, because what we're going to do is we're going to walk the legs out in front of us. parallel to one another, centers of heels on the ground. Arms are going to reach overhead in opposition. And take opposite hand to opposite elbow. Point through the toes, so you got to stretch for the tops of the thighs, through the belly. If this is like easy peasy, go ahead and lift the block another notch, and you'll feel something different. And you may decide, I want this stretch, but I'm only going to do one leg at a time. So one foot could come to the mat and the other leg lengthening, and then vice versa. So stay with the height of the block that works for you. Maybe both legs are stretched out, maybe just one or the other. Scoot the belly in so you really can get a deeper stretch with this. Lengthen out your low back and your tailbone. And then walk the feet down to the mat. Bridge pose feels easy now. And you might need to lower your block a layer or rise it up a layer. Hug your knees toward your chest and then lift your legs to the sky for a supported inversion. Supported inversion on the block. You can move your ankles around. It's not exactly a stretch, but you might feel a stretch through your spine, or maybe your legs or somewhere else. Ah. Let your legs sway gently side to side, just to see where the plumb line is. Hug your knees into your chest and use the block, like the block is right at your pelvis. You're gonna hug the knees in, and that's gonna kind of use the block to stretch your low back. See if you feel that. And if you want, you can lengthen your legs back behind you, kind of in a mini plow. Plow is with the feet behind you and the hips lifted much higher. We're using the block to support us right now. Just a few more breaths. Slowly rolling out of it, your timing, your way. Hugging your knees into your chest just for a moment to settle. And this is your time now to take any last minute stretches that your body wishes for. Could be a happy baby, a beautiful hamstring and thigh and hip stretch. Could be a wide-legged split or a big back bend. But we're at the point in the practice where we're settling down towards Shavasana. So find your way there over the next few breaths. Settling in to rest. Settling into release. We've done some very active stretching through this last hour. So now is the time to let go and to soften. So that is part of stretching, is after the stretch, we release the stretch and we return to a place of softness. So there's more resilience and pliancy and bounce in your body. We want that. We do not want everything stretched open and rigid. We want to be able to open and close like bird wings, as Rumi says. Rumi or Hafiz. If everything were always open, we would not know what it felt like. So we open and we close and we open and we close.
Find your Shavasana, find your rest, find your support from the ground up, the ground. Always energy moving down, down, down into the center, the core of the earth, pulling you along with it. Knowing where down is really part of being human. So just enjoy that experience. And feel the front of your body opening up, up, up to the heavens. Resting in the space between. Wiggling your fingers and toes. Letting your head roll gently side to side. And rolling on your side. And pausing on your side. And giving yourself a hug, and let that hug be a stretch. Maybe it's a stretch to send love to yourself through the form of a hug. If there's something to let go of or release, draw your forehead down to the ground and just let that which does not serve you or belong to you pour out on the forehead, out of your mouth if you have a word or a sound, out of your eyes if you have an image. Releasing that which does not serve you, which is excess, which does not serve your highest good. Rise your way up to seated and draw your hands to your heart and find your most open, long, wide, deep seated posture. Take up space. Breathe into your full being, fullness of yourself. And let's stretch the neck with a little gaze down into the heart and the hands. Back of the neck gets a little stretch. Heart gets to soften a little bit. And then thumbs to the forehead to lift you up and up and up. Maybe you look up. Maybe your awareness is up and out. Zooming out beyond your own small story. Connecting with all sentient beings, all beings. And bowing together, namaste.